You opened your bedroom door tonight, reached for the light switch, and felt that tiny, sudden spike of anxiety before the room flooded with light. You might even do it every single night without thinking about it. You peer into the pitch black closet, or look nervously down a dark hallway, half expecting something to be staring back at you. We pretend it's just an active imagination, or a leftover childhood fear. But it's actually one of the oldest, most deeply rooted human instincts we possess. It is older than agriculture, older than language, and older than our entire species. The question is, how did our ancestors get this terror wired so permanently into our brains? To understand why your heart beats faster when the power goes out, we have to go back to the very beginning of the human story. Roughly 2 million years ago, early human ancestors, like Homo erectus, were navigating the African savanna. During the day, they were doing okay. They had basic tools, they could scavenge for meat, and they could spot danger from a distance. But when the sun dipped below the horizon, the rules of the game changed entirely. The African night wasn't just quiet and peaceful. It was loud, vibrant, and absolutely crawling with apex predators. We are talking about prehistoric lions, giant hyenas, and massive saber-toothed cats. These predators had incredible night vision, an acute sense of smell, and a strong preference for hunting after dark. Humans, on the other hand, have terrible night vision. Our eyes are evolutionary optimized for daytime color vision, meaning we are basically blind in the dark. Think about that. You are a slow, hairless primate with blunt teeth and no claws, trapped in a pitch-black landscape surrounded by giant, silent killers who can see you perfectly. If an early human felt perfectly calm and adventurous at night, they went for a stroll, and then they got eaten. They didn't pass on their casual attitude to any children. But the humans who felt a profound, paralyzing terror of the dark stayed close together. They hid in trees or wedged themselves into deep rock crevices. Their fear kept them alive. Fear wasn't a flaw, it was a highly successful survival strategy. But humans didn't want to hide in dark holes forever. Everything changed around 400,000 years ago when our ancestors mastered fire. Archaeologists digging at sites like Kazim Cave in Israel have found deep, thick layers of ash and burned bones dating back hundreds of thousands of years. This wasn't a wildfire. This was a permanent, controlled hearth. Fire gave us warmth and cooked food, but most importantly, it gave us a weapon against the night. Fire created a dome of safety. It was a glowing shield that prehistoric predators refused to cross. For the first time, humans could sit up past sunset. They could talk, plan, and bond. But here's the catch, and this is where the open loop of human psychology gets weird. Fire didn't cure our fear of the dark. It actually made it more specific. When you sit next to a crackling fire at night, what happens to your vision? The bright light dilates your pupils, making the darkness outside the firelight look even darker than it actually is. Shadows dance against the trees. Every snapping twig sounds like a monster. Prehistoric humans sitting around a hearth were acutely aware that just 10 feet behind them, the pitch-black void was waiting. The fire didn't eliminate the danger. It just drew a hard line between the safe zone and the kill zone. Here's what makes this so important. This evolutionary pressure didn't just change our behavior. It physically rewired the anatomy of our brains. Deep inside your temporal lobes sits a pair of almond-shaped structures called the amygdala. This is your brain's ancient alarm system, responsible for processing fear and triggering the fight or flight response. A famous study by researchers at Monash University used functional MRI scans to look at how the modern human brain reacts to different lighting conditions. They found that even in a safe, sterile laboratory environment, the amygdala lights up with activity when the lights are turned off. Crucially, the connection between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles logic and reasoning, starts to break down in the dark. In plain terms, your brain is hardwired to ignore logic when it can't see. Your logic center says you are in your suburban apartment. There are no tigers here. But your ancient amygdala screams, we can't see, turn on the light, or we are going to die. Ancient survival instincts will beat modern logic every single time. As tens of thousands of years rolled on, this biological fear evolved into a cultural phenomenon. Humans began to populate the darkness with monsters. Think about every myth, folklore tale, or horror movie monster you know. Vampires, ghosts, werewolves, the bogeyman. They all operate under the cover of night. In 2011, a world-renowned ecologist named Craig Packer published a groundbreaking study analyzing hundreds of lion attacks on humans in Tanzania over a 30-year period. The data revealed a terrifyingly precise pattern. Lions were significantly more likely to attack humans during the darkest phases of the moon cycle. In the days immediately following a full moon, when the sky went dark early in the evening, attacks skyrocketed. Our ancestors didn't just invent monsters because they had overactive imaginations. They invented monsters because the monsters were real, and they arrived right on schedule when the moon faded. We wrapped our biological reality in folklore to warn our children to stay inside the light. So here's the full picture. Millions of years ago, predators ruled the night while blind humans hid in terror. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, we built fires, creating a glowing boundary between safety and the dark void. Today, our brains still harbor the exact same physical circuitry that kept those cave dwellers alive. When you rush up the basement stairs after turning off the light, or feel a chill when looking into a dark room, you aren't being silly or childish. You are experiencing a direct, unbroken biological link to an ancient human ancestor who survived the African night because they were terrified of what was waiting in the shadows. Your fear is the reason you are here today. Thanks for watching. If you want to dive deeper into why our ancient past still controls our modern lives, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments what normal habit you want us to unpack next. Stay curious.